Tesh, and he actually did a co-op with me where he would drive traffic for me. And I'll actually show you, I did a case study on this guy. And this is all coming back to irrelevant. If you guys are just stick with me for a minute, because this is all going to come down to the process that's going to make you money. But let me see if I can find that here. Let me grab you something. I just want to show you something real quick. Right here. This right here is a video I did in 2011 with one of the gentlemen that you're going to see, and basically endorsing him way back then because he had made me some money. And this is in the middle of what I was doing. I had sent a bunch of traffic to a capture page that went to a sales page that signed a bunch of people up for a home business opportunity that I look back at now and say they didn't need. But my team made money in the process, and some of those folks made money. But you know what? It's just not duplicatable. It had to take me going out there and doing co-ops and finding traffic guys and learning how to master traffic and capture pages and sales funnels and mathematically incorrect equations that you're going to learn about tonight. But I want to show you a better way of doing this than finding a company and building out a training platform that can teach them how to grow a home-based business. You guys want to see something a little easier than that? Who wants to see something that is just a lot easier than all of that? Yeah, right? It's crazy what the hoops you have to jump through. So because of the way the internet has been structured nowadays, because of e-commerce, because of just people purchasing things online, there is an opportunity out there for you to kind of break out of this cycle, out of this vicious cycle that we're in the home-based business arena. And you can do that easy. And we're going to show you tonight how you can kind of get started in doing that. And here's what basically you're going to do. You guys have heard of Amazon. Who's shopped at Amazon? Who's bought stuff there? And you guys have heard of eBay. Now, whether you love these companies or you hate these companies, here's the reality. You have people that are buying products and selling products all day long here. You've got the same thing going on here. Well, the difference is the pricing. There's a difference in prices out there on dozens of websites, right? And we're going to show you how you can leverage those websites and the price differences to make a huge income. And I'll show you what that looks like. You'll see one of my last searches was a barbecue grill. Who barbecued on the 4th of July? Because I sure did. And I'll tell you what, I ran out of propane. And my wife saved me. We'll talk about that later. But I ran out of propane in my nice fancy schmancy gas grill. And I didn't have a charcoal grill. So later on I was like just looking at charcoal grills. But check this out. If I go to charcoal grill and just do a search, I can look at all of the items that come up on Amazon, right? Now if I go over to eBay and I do the same search, and I just do a search for charcoal grill, I'm going to find more results that come up on charcoal grills, right? Now the prices will be totally different. If I look at like this first result here, this Weber grill right here, that's selling for $29, I'll just show you this. Let's just do a Smoky Joe. We're just going to copy that. And we're going to come over to eBay and take a look at this and do a search. There's that new Weber Smoky Grill right there in black. There it is on Amazon. Here's what I want you guys to look at. What's the price here? Can you guys see this? Can anyone type that price in that chat for me? Yeah, $29.99. What's it selling for over on eBay? $41. So if I were to take this listing here from Amazon and just go and list it on eBay, what would happen when it sold? When it sold on eBay, I could then go back over to Amazon and order it and send it to my customer that purchased it from me on eBay. That is called drop shipping. And there are billions and billions of products to do that with. So I go over here and I sell this Weber Smoky Joe grill. I sell it for $41. Let's say I sell it for $40. And after eBay fees and everything, that money goes straight into my PayPal. I take that money. I then go ahead and buy this and ship it directly to my eBay customer. My eBay customer's happy. They got the grill they want. I'm happy because I pocketed the change. I pulled money out of thin air. I pulled money out of thin air. And I'll tell you, there are millions and millions of dollars of thin air money out there that you can tap into. And so what we did, and what we're going to do tonight, is we're going to go ahead and walk you through these steps in greater detail so that you don't have to do all the things that I had to do. You don't have to create crazy team websites to grow your home-based business, to help people recruit so that you can recruit. You don't have to do all that stuff. All you have to do is list items and sell them. That's it. Okay? And we're going to show you how to do that. All right? We're going to show you how to do that. So what I want to do is that gentleman that I talked about earlier, that I said I got all that traffic from, that was helping me grow my business even back in 2011, I've got him on the line here. And I want to turn this over to him because he's going to walk you through how this is done. His name's Hitesh. I want to show you a picture. He's not going to like that I show you a picture. I'll tell you that. Because he just won't. Here we go. There we go, right here. There he is, right here. He's right here in the middle. This is Hitesh Juneja. That's me, Kevin Hokwani, and that's Jason Rose. You're gonna be hearing a lot from us, but I want to turn this over to Hitesh and have him go ahead and pick this up and walk you guys through this process. So Hitesh, are you here, my friend?
Yep, yes I am, and thank you for warning me about that picture. Okay, so I'm going to actually walk everybody through this. Kevin is great at introductions and talking about all the things that happened and what led up to this. I'm going to focus more on just the very dry, boring stuff, which is mathematically how do you make money out of all of the stuff. Okay? So I'm actually going to do something quick. I have a little timer going on here. This is actually, as you can see, it's been running since we started the webinar, and this has been configured to actually show you what people currently using this one platform that we're going to teach you about today, what people are doing right now with that. So in the past 15 minutes and 30 seconds now, about $11,300 has been generated by members who are using this platform right now. So by the end of this webinar, the whole idea is that you can go out there and start doing the exact same thing without buying anything. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars or something like that. You can just get into it and get started and just be successful pretty quickly. Okay? So we're just going to show you guys exactly how that happens, and we're not going to tell you to pay us $5,000 so that you can learn the secret or something like that. It's actually very, very straightforward. So when it comes to, and unfortunately, a lot of you said yes, you've been involved in MLMs and things like that before. So I feel bad for you because I was spared that, I guess, in many ways. But here is what happens there, and you will see why I'm explaining this quickly. You have to basically get a product, some lotion, potion, or juice, or shake, or something like that, and then you're told to go out and sell it to your warm market, right? You go out and tell your aunt and uncle and friends and high school friends and so on that you now have this magical weight loss shake. You go out and do that, and you're told that's going to generate profits for you. But what it usually generates is a lot of hatred from your family members. Then you have the other method, which is online, which is usually somebody gets on a webinar like this. Occasionally they have a suspicious Indian accent like I do, and they try to sell you some $3,000, $5,000 thingamajig with, hey, here's how you go out and you sell digital products, so you sell ebooks or videos, whatever you want. And in that process, they tell you you're going to spend money advertising, you're going to go buy domain names, you're going to set up hosting. Trust me, it works. I've done that before myself. But then you have to generate traffic to it. And they show you these screenshots of a lot of money, which we can show you as well, but it will be kind of strong. And they're going to say you're going to make a bunch of money, you're going to make profits. What you end up generating is usually some debt that you end up with your credit card debt from spending money on traffic and so on and so forth. Very few people, you've all heard the statistic, less than 3% of the people who try this stuff are actually profitable. Okay? And interestingly enough, those 3% are usually people who are teaching others to do this stuff, right? So it's a little bit worse than just saying 3% of the people do well. it's usually 3%. I mean, in some ways, it's people like Kevin, right, who know how to do all the setup. And then they have a secret Indian guy who's doing the traffic for them. So it works out for them. But for most people, it doesn't. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to step away from all of this, identify the problems, which are basically this, that you are tied to fixed products that you have to promote, right? We're not going to do that. We're going to get rid of this. We're going to say the whole world is open to us. We're going to go out there. We're just going to look at what's profitable, and we're just going to grab money out of that. We're not going to deal with any kind of technical setup. Okay, let major companies handle that. We don't want to become a salesperson and sell anything to anyone. Okay, we just want to find out what people are buying, and we just kind of dip our toe in the process, get some money, and leave. And we do not want to generate any traffic ourselves. So no costs for us there. Okay, all of this immediately removes a lot of the costs. It removes a lot of the obstructions and obstacles that you have along the way. And we're going to do it in a very, very easy way instead, which Kevin kind of gave you a little prelude on. The entire world, the whole world runs on commerce, which essentially is that you have a product and you have a source or a supplier, but let's say like a manufacturer or a farmer who's growing something, and then you have a marketplace, right? It could be a small local market, it could be a major grocery store, it could be a mall, it could be online, it could be different websites, it could be all those things. And that's what you have. There's always a price difference between your source and your marketplace, because the person who distributes along the way basically gets to make some money from the process. Okay, so here is what we're going to do. We're going to find sources or suppliers of products, all sorts of products, no holds barred, we don't care. And we're going to go and find marketplaces where we can sell those profitably. And we are going to just sit here nicely, happily. We just say that Kevin, for example, just sits here on this little platform generating money. So we're going to use a platform that makes this happen for us. That's going to be dirt cheap, basically. And we're going to do this process and generate profit. Okay. Now, my fun story, Kevin has all the fun stories with Air Force and blowing up things and whatnot. My fun story is that when I was growing up, I was in India, and I would have to, in my school, we would basically have all these monkeys that would attack and steal lunchboxes and stuff. True story, okay? Don't making this up, you can go search this. So I'm actually just going to use that, and I'm going to go to Amazon.com, and I'm going to search for monkey. Okay, so random word, you can search whatever you want, blue, red, milk, muscle, monkey, car, elephant, whatever, doesn't matter. We're going to search for monkey. And what I am looking for right now is an item that is, somewhere in the $20 to $50 range. Okay, and there are more specifics on it, but I'm just going to look at the 20. Here's one right here. The Soho Curious Monkey 6-in-1 Deluxe diaper bag for $25.25. And while Kevin was talking, I took this exact phrase and I typed it into eBay right here. Okay, and what we're going to do is going to check this box that says only show us stuff that is sold. Okay, so now we are seeing all this that is sold. So here is one that's sold for $44. Here's one that's sold for $38, $28, $34, so on and so forth. Okay, so there's lots of different, as you can see, sellers who have sold this right on June 10th. Okay, so just last month somebody sold this for a nice $10, $15 profit right over here. So here's how this goes. You find a product at a supplier. In this case, our supplier was Amazon. Okay, is everybody with me so far? Do you understand what I'm getting at? In this case, our supplier is Amazon and our marketplace is eBay. Okay, this doesn't have to be this way all the time. And what we need is a platform along the way that will basically help us find these products, will take the product for us, and basically turn that into a profitable thing for us, basically. So if you understand that so far, just say yes, or I get it, or it makes sense, or anything to that nature. Okay, people are getting it, beautiful. Okay, now here's what we're going to do. We are going to focus on profitable items where we make a small amount of money along the way. In this case, we would spend 25 and we would have made 44. Okay, But eBay has its fees, PayPal has its fees. There's always cost of e-commerce, right? So there's going to be like 15% in fees that you're going to pay, 15 to 20%, somewhere in that range. So in the end, after all is said and done, our profit is going to be about $12. Okay? But here is a very important thing in this whole thing. Note that usually in any business, let's say you were running a business, a little store of your own or whatever, if you were actually selling things, you would usually buy things first, right? And this is what you're told. This is the perpetual, the old school method of making money. You buy low and then you sell high, right? So you would buy something for 25 bucks and then you would sell that for 40 bucks and you would say, look, I made money. What we are talking about is slightly different. What we are doing is the reverse of this. What we're doing is first we're selling high, then we buy low, okay? This is a totally different concept because this eliminates the risk from you, right? And this is the big difference between why this works for the average user and doesn't work just for the big guy with a lot of money. Because the big guy with a lot of money can go out there and buy 1,000 of these for 5 bucks. And then he can go and sell those for 40 bucks and make a bunch of money. But for somebody who doesn't have that money to begin with, doesn't have a bunch of cash laying around to play with, this is the only way to do it in a risk-free manner. You're only going to spend your money after you have already made your money. Now here's the other logistical part that's kind of easy. The hard thing about doing e-commerce for a lot of people who try to do it the traditional way is you have to stock the item, you have to have a space, you have to have a garage, then you have to ship the items out, right? It's work. In this case, here's what's going to happen. So maybe some other nostalgic person from India who also misses monkeys goes out and buys this item from me. Okay, so let's say somebody else buys this item from me. We call him Joe Smith. Buys this item who lives on 123 Monkey Street, maybe Sesame Street, and in, let's say, Texas. Okay, so this person comes to eBay and buys this item from me. I've already received $44 in my PayPal account. I say, brilliant, this is awesome. Now I go over to Amazon, I place the order, but I put the customer's address, okay, the customer's shipping address is going to be Joe Smith, 123 Monkey Street, Texas, okay? So what's gonna happen is that this item is gonna leave Amazon, it's gonna go right to Joe. Joe is happy, he has received his product. I've made a profit on the whole transaction for facilitating the whole thing. Amazon has made a profit. The manufacturer who has actually listed the item on Amazon has made a profit. Everybody has basically generated an income. This is basically what commerce is, or e-commerce is. This is how the free market works. And this allows you, the average user, to now get in there and do this at virtually no cost to yourself. Okay. Now we can play around with this a little bit. We don't have to use Amazon as a supplier all the time. We don't have to use eBay as a marketplace all the time. And the platform we're going to discuss today, the DS Domination platform, which stands for Drop Ship Domination. This basically is designed to help you guys do this. Okay, and this happens at very, very, very low cost. It allows everybody to basically get in and start doing this. So let's put this in perspective. If you were usually trying to do something online, even if you were just starting out, you would first go out and spend a bunch of money on some courses and whatever, and you'd have some costs there. So you would usually get on a webinar like this. Somebody would pitch you a $997 one-time only super special deal. You're going to do that, right? That's not going to happen here. Then after that, you're going to have to buy 5 or 6 domain names at, let's say, $8 each. You buy 5 of them, so that's 40 bucks. And then you're going to have some hosting, so you're going to spend about $5 a month after that on that. And that's basically how you would begin in your business. Then you would have advertising costs, maybe you PPC campaigns, or maybe you would find somebody in Philippines or India to build links for you to your website. You're going to spend a few $100s a month there. Essentially, that's the wrong way to go about business, right? Because you are basically taking all the risk up front. What we are talking about is letting somebody else take the risk for you, and that's why we use these platforms and do the stuff like that. So I'm actually just going to show you guys how this platform works. And we are basically going to come in here into the DS domination platform. I've already found this item, right? I like this item. I want to sell this item on here. So I've taken the URL of this item and I've copy pasted it in here. Okay. And here's what it's doing. It's now going to tell me how to create the best selling eBay listing on autopilot. So here I am, I've typed diaper bag, and it's telling me what keywords I've been searched for on eBay. This is not going to cost me anything. I'm not buying a domain name. I'm not building anything out. I'm just using this platform. It's going to let me basically build the title on autopilot. It's telling me what category is getting the highest amount of traffic that is related to my product. So this is the category I want to put it in. Okay. And after I've built my title and I've done all this stuff, I just basically tell the system how much money I want to make on this. So I tell that I want to make a 12% profit margin. Okay, so if I want to make 12%, it will calculate after all the different fees involved in this, in the sales taxes and all the fancy smashy stuff that happens in the background, basically calculates it and tells me, look, you're going to list this item for $36.06. Okay, let me see if I can show you guys this again. Okay, so take a look at this on eBay. You can see that people have already sold this. These are previously sold listings. Okay, so these are all, as you can see, sold very recently. People are selling this for more than 36 bucks right now. And I can basically sell this for $36 and make a 12% profit margin, which is awesome. Okay, all of the settings are already in place. I don't need to mess around with any of the stuff. It grabs all the information. It has already grabbed the description of the product. It has already grabbed and put in a shipping and return policy for me. It has already grabbed the images. So I'm just going to check the boxes for which images I want to use. These are the images I want to use for this. And essentially, we are good to go. That's pretty much it. Now we're going to go ahead and we're just going to basically say, list this item for me on eBay, and that's it. I'm done. Basically, in about those 30 to 40 seconds, obviously it took me a little longer because I'm explaining this, but in about 50 seconds or so, you can have your own little potential profit generating thing happening right here on eBay. Now, here is the worst case scenario. Worst case scenario, this thing doesn't sell at all, right? But you don't stop at that. You can go back there and you can list 50 items, 100 items, whatever it may take. You list a bunch of items, and you start generating sales, okay? And that's it. That's literally how easy it is. You do not have to spend any of the time or any of the money doing any of the standard things that you do with any online business. Okay, now does that sound kind of easy? Can you, do you guys understand it so far? And does that sound easier than anything you've done so far online? Beautiful. Okay, so everybody gets it. That is awesome. Now, let me explain a few things though, okay? Because this is usually when, right, I mean, if I'm right, if you've ever attended a webinar before, this is usually when somebody goes, and now for only $9.97, I will actually give you the secret behind this, whatever, right? There's no secret behind it. There are actually some problems behind it. So we have to actually talk about what are the potential issues that can happen, that can mess with you, and what can slow you down, okay? This is something nobody does, right? Everybody just tells you how great it is, and then they give you a link and say, go buy it. So let's talk about the problems with this. There are basically three major problems that can happen. Okay, the first problem is the price can fluctuate. Okay, here's what can happen. You go out there, you list this item for 40 bucks on eBay because it was 25 on Amazon. Then suddenly 4 days later, the price goes up on Amazon and the price becomes $38. And you suddenly are not making money. You might take a slight loss if you sell it at this price. So here is why I said you want to use a platform that manages this. What this platform does is not only did you find a product and make your listing and all that good stuff, it actually will also go in here, and you will notice it right here. You see how this is showing me that this is the item being tracked? This system will go in there and it'll check every few hours, is the price on Amazon still profitable? And if the price on Amazon goes up, let's say the price becomes $30, the platform will go and adjust your eBay price to make sure you're still making a 12% profit margin. So remember, it listed it for 36 bucks. It will go and adjust it upwards to maybe 41 bucks to make sure you still make 12% profit margin. That right there is basically one of the big reasons why the average user can do this to make some money. But once you start getting into bigger money, you have to have something to help you with the automation. Okay. The second issue that you would come across, and you will actually come across this before the first issue usually, is how do I actually find these products? What products do I avoid? Because there are some companies who don't want their items on eBay. There are some people who will say, well, we don't allow our products to be sold on eBay, whatever. They might have whatever reason. That's why this platform is so critical, because if you go under training and you go to what's called Pro, it basically walks you through the whole thing. So you can see right here, here's how you get started, here's how you set up your account, here's how you get your item, here's how you find good items, here's how you sell your first item the first time. Basically everything from beginning to end is covered for you in very good detail in this training. Okay, and this training is included, it's all in there, it's basically part of using the platform. Okay, so it makes your life way easier to just basically go in, watch the videos, and get started. And actually, just checking on this. Okay, so we're at 24 something. So here's the first evidence that this thing works. The first evidence this thing works is there are all these people currently in DS domination who are actively doing this. And not just people in DSD, but there are people outside of DS domination doing this. In fact, I wanted to consider for a second, what does Amazon as a company do? What Amazon does is, which as you know is one of the largest companies in the world at this point, it basically tells other people, hey, send your products to our warehouse, and then we will sell them for you. And in many cases, it doesn't even ask people to sell their products to the Amazon. They just say, hey, just list your item on Amazon, and if somebody buys it, ship it to them. They are basically doing the exact same thing. This is the basis of all e-commerce. Okay, so this is not some weird out there loophole that we have discovered, and we're like, hey guys, there's this 5-minute window, let's get in there and make a bunch of money. This is the very core, this is the very basis of all e-commerce as it exists. So you're getting in there and starting to do really well with it. So third problem that you might come across is cost, that it is too prohibitive for you to actually get in here and start doing this stuff. So we actually just solved this problem pretty easily. The whole cost for this platform to use this, to do everything what I just showed you, to find products, to get the training on it, to list an item up and get the sales on it and all that stuff, actually only costs $19.95 a month, okay, which basically pays for itself very quickly, as you can imagine. Now, this is the beginning though, right? And the aim here is not that you're going to make $15,000 a week starting tomorrow. The aim here is that, look, you can now start building a little business on the side, and our aim is to get you to somewhere from $500 to $1,000 a month. Okay, that doesn't sound too awesome, right? I mean, I don't think you usually get on webinars and somebody gets on here and says, I'm going to show you how to make $500 a month. They always tell you how they're going to make $50,000 a month, and that's kind of ridiculous. Here's why our aim is to get you to $500 to $1,000 a month first. At that point, first of all, I think it's evidence to you that this thing works. Secondly, that's the right way to grow a business. You don't jump in and spend a bunch of money, spend a bunch of time without knowing what kind of returns you're going to get. The other thing is, this allows you to keep your cost very low, very well managed. And you should be hitting this level somewhere when you have around 40 to 60 listings. You should definitely be able to get to this level around that many listings. As you keep making more and more listings, remember there's no limit. There are people right now in DSD, verified statistical data by the way, we know for a fact there are people in DSD who are just selling on eBay, just doing what we just showed you, and making $50,000 a month in net profit. Okay, I'm not talking about sales, I'm talking about net profit. Okay, people who are doing $200,000 a month in sales. So that's very much possible to do, but we don't talk about it as much because I think it gives a false impression to the end user. So you get in here at very cheap prices, okay, lower than buying a couple domain names and hosting, and start doing this. Basically, if you get in, you watch the videos, by the end of tomorrow, you should already have your first listings up. You should already start seeing some activity on your account. And we have a lot of people who have to get in here, and their first 24 hours, they make a couple of sales. We had a few people who actually made videos and sent them to us saying, look, I just joined in our first 24 hours, I made $100, which we are very excited about, we're very happy about. But usually we say, get in here, if you actually apply your stuff, if you actually make the listings, in 1 week, you should have a bunch of listings up, and you should start seeing some return from it, okay? Now, what do you do after that? Okay, five 500 bucks is great, $1,000 is great. What happens after that? And this is what a lot of people ask too. What are all these other things? What is this pro? What is this elite, and so on? So the way we structured this is we want to give you kind of a pathway towards being a very big business owner. Okay, so you get in at a very low cost. Now you're going to take, and this is our method of doing this. Okay, and you don't have to buy anything like this right now. We're just showing you what happens, so there are no surprises down the road. Once you're making this kind of money, our recommendation is that you take $100 out of this. Okay, take $99 a month and get elite. Okay, that's what that elite thing is. That's when we would actually make money, because when you pay this $19.95 a month, as a company, we barely make anything on it because we pay affiliates for it. We have all of our maintenance costs. We have our own server costs. As you can imagine, it's kind of expensive to be streaming video to thousands and thousands of people every day and so on. After all of that is said and done, on average, we make 18 cents on here. Okay, and this is the kind of transparency that you don't usually get from any company. We are not looking to make money by selling this. Okay, I mean, we are, obviously we want to make money as well. Kevin is grimacing on the other side, going, "No, I want the money." But usually, this is what happens. We make very, very little money from this. The way we would make money is once you start making sales, you start generating a profit, and you say, "Okay, I see this thing works. Let me take it to the next level." And then you go ahead and you upgrade and join Elite. Okay. Now, once you join Elite, we change the things a little bit. Now you're not going to sell just on eBay. You're also going to sell on other marketplaces. Okay, so here's how it goes. You basically have additional marketplaces where you can sell. And instead of just using Amazon, and then we have a couple of the suppliers at the pro level, you will also have a bunch of other suppliers. And you take those suppliers, and now your income just really starts exploding because you're selling on multiple places, from multiple places, all together, all kind of working together. And of course, the software works with all these other places as well. And that's how we would kind of generate income. So you can hopefully understand that when we are doing this presentation, when we are explaining to you guys how this thing works, our immediate goal is actually to get you profitable, because that's the only way we would be profitable down the road. Okay, so that hopefully kind of makes sense to you guys, that we're not doing something ridiculous over here. Let's see. So any questions at this point? I'm just trying to address a couple of questions, and then I'm going to go ahead.
Quick, Hitesh, before you get into questions, can I grab the screen? I want to walk them through real quick one more time everything that's at the pro level. Is that cool?
Yep. Yes, that's absolutely cool. Actually, I was going to go there as well after I addressed a question, because there's one more question about the PayPal hold that I wanted to go over, just to keep everybody prepared. But you go ahead and walk everybody through what happens in pro, just so they understand what their focus needs to be.
Yeah, so this is the pro level, guys, and I mean, there's so much happening here that I actually wanted to break this down into what is in this system at these levels. So at the pro level, this is the $19.95 a month level. You're actually getting access to over-the-shoulder training tutorials. So we have tons of training tutorials that you're going to go through inside of Pro. We're going to teach you how to get started with your business, right? Where do you start at? Where does this whole thing begin? The item search method. How do you find items? Because if you can't find items, you sure don't have a business. The anatomy of a listing. We need to let you know exactly how a listing is supposed to look so you can beat out your competition. What do you do after your first sale? Okay, we answer that questions in these over-the-shoulder tutorials. What's your first action step? Because it's great to get that first sale, but now you need to know what to do with it. Protecting your business. We're going to show you how to protect your business for the long term so that you guys have money coming in for decades, not just the next couple of weeks or years. All right, action taking and goal setting. If you don't set goals, I'll tell you what. If you don't set a goal and start taking action on it, then that's called a dream, guys. And we don't want you guys to just be out there kind of having a pipe dream. This is something that works. We have bi-weekly live training at this level. And actually, if you're watching this in the live webinar, which all of you are here, then I'll tell you what, tomorrow we have a pro training. So you guys are going to be able to get on one of those bi-weekly trainings tomorrow. All right, and now we move into the software and the automation, which is a lot about what Hitesh just showed you, which is the product search tools, so you don't really have to go out there and manually do it. A lot of that stuff is just or bring over your URL, and bam, you're good. The title building tool, how to optimize your titles, our eBay listing software, so it lists it for you, the keyword research tools, the tracking and list management tools, so if you run out of stock, it adjusts your price for you, or it just takes your listing down. I mean, it's amazing that this is your big time saver, and it's going to help you scale. You're also going to get some support, okay? We've got a Facebook group at the pro level. We have a Facebook group at every level that for those of you who are, if you're in Facebook, if you love to be on Facebook, well, guess what? You're going to love this because you guys are able to just go out there and either partake in the conversation or just be a fly on the wall and listen to the questions and get answers. And we also have a 24-hour help desk you guys will have access to that will, you know, anytime you have a question, you just pop in there, ask them a question, bam, you get your answer. And again, you know, I love putting coffee cups at the end of this stuff because you probably spent more. Who spent more than $20 this month on garbage? You know, the specialty coffee, the pizza you didn't need. All right, just ridiculous how much money we waste every day. Take that $20 and invest it into yourself. Invest it into your business. George says a day, right? So cut $20 out of that out of there, and let's get your business up and running. That's my point with this last little piece here. And I'll show you guys one more thing real quick. I know we're about to move into some Q&A. I know there's a lot of questions on here. Yeah, you know, I just had someone posting there saying, hey, I waste a lot of money on shiny objects, you know? And you know, it's true. We waste so much money when we could have been taking that and investing that into our business. And this is what we have here. I mean, $20 a month. It's ridiculous. But I'm going to ask this question real quick, just on my Facebook wall. Who is making money with DS domination? And no one else would ever post anything like that. Let me know. So I'm doing this a little bit late in the webinar, but I want to just so you guys can see what we've got going on here as people come over and comment. And this is on my personal Facebook wall, right? And someone asked me what was this picture all about in the chat. This was me walking out at our last event and asking the crowd who's making money, asking our members here who's making money, and everyone raised their hand. It was ridiculous. So craziness. So I'm going to turn this over. I'm going to grab you, Hitesh, and we'll go through some of these questions if you don't have anything. But if you guys are ready to get started and to join right now, just go to dsdomination.com/sign up. We can put that on the screen as well. We want to make sure you guys can get off the ground. All right, Hitesh, it looks like you did grab the screen, but there we go. We got you. We got no audio. We'll come back to this post at the end. I'll show you guys the exact results these folks are making. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and actually, you know what here, once again, just want to show you guys, while you've been on the webinar, we've been talking about this, DSD members have generated approximately $33,600 in that time already, okay? And this is all based on our tracking internally, because we can track how many sales are being generated and so on. So these are sales being generated, right? You know, an estimate of the sales being generated by our members based on historical averages that we already calculated internally. Okay, so this thing is just so, it's just so amazing because we don't feel like we're getting on a webinar and we're trying to get people to spend money so we can make money. For us, it's like we get on a webinar, we're trying to expose this very simple method, very simple thing, which essentially is far easier to do than anything else you guys are going to do. Doesn't cost you anything compared to most of the things you're going to do. And the upside for us is that we actually get to build a company, we actually get to build a user base that eventually will follow us into many other things because they are successful, right? The funny thing is, a long time ago, we'd actually built a funnel. This was one of the reasons I never got involved in MLMs was because this problem I had. My first problem was that, look, I cannot go out there and sell overpriced junk, basically, to my warm market, right? Because what I'm going to do, call my parents in India and say, hey, do you guys want to buy $50 per month of weight loss supplements? You know, like that's ridiculous. Not going to work. And nobody's going to buy that from, you know, a young Indian guy anyway. You know what? I'm going to knock on doors and be like, hey, guys, I have a special weight loss supplement shake for you to replace your meals. It's just silly stuff. Okay, so I never got into that because of that. But at the same time, there's a mathematical problem, right? So few people can make money doing that because it's mathematically structured that way, right? They're all going to collapse eventually from the down up because the person at the bottom doesn't make money. So for us, this was always a method of, look, this is what you should be doing to generate an income. Now, there are some other things you can also be doing online to generate an income. You can, for example, and this is the question actually right now. There's somebody asking, what about selling on Amazon itself? I've heard about courses that teach that. And that's true. Actually, we cover that in a lot of detail in 2 levels of DSD called Monopoly and Genesis. So you see over here in Monopoly and Genesis, they're all about selling on Amazon. Now, Monopoly is just like this arbitrage we showed you. You don't buy stuff up front, you sell on Amazon just like we showed you. It's kind of crazy. There are people actually making insane incomes. We have people making $1,000 a day in net profit right now, just doing Monopoly. Okay. And then we have Genesis, where you can actually, you become the big guy. You actually go out, we show you how to source your own items. You go and list those items on Amazon. They get shipped into Amazon directly, all that kind of good stuff. And we show you how to do that. But we don't talk about it upfront so much. Maybe we should, but these are expensive things. Okay, so Monopoly costs like $500, and sometimes you do a discount deal and stuff like that. Genesis costs $1,500. That's why we don't talk about it, because we don't want to go out there and tell people, look, you got to spend all this money so you can get our secret magic pill stuff. We go out there and say, look, let us show you the pathway to profitability. Start making money. Okay, let's get you to $500 to $1,000 a month. Then let's take some of that and get you to elite. Okay, you're going to add elite on. And at that point, you're going to start generating. Our aim is with elite, somebody who has pro and elite together. Okay, you should really be kind of at a job replacing income. Okay, like a low-end job replacement, like $2,000 to $3,000 a month. In that range, you should be generating when you are at pro and elite, and if you're actually using the stuff and actually following through on the training. Again, people are doing multiple 5 figures doing this, but we would much rather keep your expectations managed on that side. Now, after that, and this is another question, what is cashback? Because you see there was this cashback thing. So the next step after this is Unleashed, which is a one-time product. What Unleashed does is, remember, here's the fun part. Remember all these suppliers, you are selling so many items from them, right? You're moving so much product for them. Some of these people, some of these companies absolutely love you for selling their products, as they should, right? So what they'll do is they'll actually give you incentives. They'll be like, look, we're going to give you an extra 5% cash back. We're going to give you an extra 7% off or stuff like that. And here's then what starts happening. At that level, in Unleash, we show you how to actually take all these things together and monetize them properly. So here's what happens. You're going to find a product and sell it, make a profit, and then the supplier is going to pay you for selling their product. So you basically get to double that and make a lot more money doing that. And so we have people who make, so let's talk about it like this. On Pro, you're looking to make $5 to $20 profit per sale. Okay, that's basically what you're looking at on the Pro side on average. Okay, these are averages. On the elite side, you're looking at 20 to sometimes, we get people who make $200, $300, but you're looking at somewhere around $75 profit per sale. People who are using Unleashed at the same time are oftentimes going above $100 profit on a sale, because then they are getting really higher price items. They're getting large cash back or large discounts on it. And what it lets them do is really cool, because then they can actually go out and list an item for a lower price than the supplier, because the supplier is giving them such a big discount, they are able to sell it for lower price. So that's, kind of neat. So that's basically how this goes. I don't want to talk about even the expensive stuff. We really, really don't like talking about it on webinars, because we don't want people to think that we're trying to sell you on something expensive. Just want you to go through and start out on Pro and Elite. That's really where you should be focused on in the beginning, and start generating an income from there. And okay, somebody's asking about how the sign-up process works. Is all you guys are going to do is, I've actually put the link in your chat as well. You go to this link, it's going to show you this, okay? And it's going to explain to you what's happening here. And you're going to see you have been referred by, and it's going to show you the referrer name right here. And that's basically the person who invited you to this webinar. And hopefully it's a very nice person and you say thank you to them, because this is life-changing for majority of the people. Fill out this form. That's basically all it. Check these two boxes and click on buy now, and that will take you through the process, and you will be a member of DSD pretty much right away. Now, don't stop there. After you have that, you get the option to understand Elite and get started there. But please make sure that you actually go through the training videos. We get tired of mentioning this over and over. You have to go and make sure that you actually go through the pro training videos and learn the whole process, and then you start putting your listings up. That's basically it. If you're somebody who joins, who goes through the training and you start putting your listings up, by the time you're at 50 listings to 60 listings, you should be able to see that this concept works, that the idea behind this is sound and this thing really works. Okay. Now, two other things that I want to address. One is, what about international members? Okay, so if you're international, you can still use the system. There are two ways for you to go about it. One is that you can actually set up a corporation in the US and get started there, which is kind of a tedious process. It's a little more expensive. The other way is that you actually sell in your local geographical area first. That builds up your account on eBay, and then you can sell on eBay.com. And if you are in UK, for example, we actually do have a UK version, so you can just switch to UK, and you will then see the UK version of the trainings. I'm going to switch back to US now. And if you go into Pro, you will also see all of the stuff in here, and it'll basically break down. If you're an international member, it will show that stuff to you right over here. Okay, in the first two videos, it'll explain to you what you need to be doing there. What about ongoing support? Okay, so if for ongoing support, first of all, this is cool because we have the webinar today, but every Wednesday we do training webinars. Okay, so we actually have our trainers on there. We have people who are doing e-commerce currently at this moment in time. They're on there. Sometimes I'm on there. Kevin is on there as well. And what we'll do is we'll basically take all the questions you have. We'll walk you through any issues you might be facing. So if you're somebody who has been in here for 3 weeks and you're like, you know what, I've been doing this for 3 weeks. I have 60 listings up. My listings are not selling. What am I doing wrong? You can actually come on there and say, hey, look, here is my listing. It's not selling. What should I do? And we walk you guys through that. Okay, so that's free as well. It's live training. Every Wednesday we hold a live training video, a live training session, and you can go through that with us. And that's basically your support. If you have other questions or you're stuck somewhere, you can click on support up here, go to the support desk, ask questions there, and then we have our Facebook communities. You can just click here to join our Facebook group and get help there as well. So there's that. And of course, if you're Spanish, you can switch to Spanish up here. You'll see these videos in Spanish instead. Pretty much everything you could think of has kind of been taken care of for you. The only thing you have to do is get in here and actually take your effort to start going through this. Okay. What happens if I once joined and I'm inactive now? How do I reactivate? Actually, all you do is you go back to DS Domination, log back in. Your account is still in there. Just log back in, and it'll show you how to reactivate your account. Just click on Pro, reactivate your Pro, same cost, and you still get access to everything that you're seeing here. Okay, and then we're going to take 2 more questions. Okay, because I think we've covered almost everything. Okay, do the calculated fees also include eBay's fees? Yes, it covers all of eBay's fees in there. What if you lost your eBay account? Very good question, James. Okay, so remember what I said, that you can actually go through and sell on platforms other than just eBay, right? So when you are at the elite level, we teach you how to sell on other platforms as well. Or you can get Monopoly, which teaches you then how to sell on Amazon directly. But there's actually, we are making quite a big adjustment right now. We have a huge upgrade plan even on our software side, and we're always reforming this. Ask people who joined us 2 years ago. We had nothing at all like what the company was 2 years ago. We just had some videos 2 years ago, and now we have this whole platform that works the way it does. And basically, on the elite level, we are actually working on even including within our software systems the ability to list on other platforms, so you can make sales there. In fact, we just did a training webinar 2 weeks ago showing how you could sell on another platform alongside eBay, or if you don't have an eBay account, or if eBay doesn't like you, or if you're international, then go to Elite, and in Elite level, you will start learning about that and start using that a lot more. Okay. All right, so what time are training classes on Wednesdays? They are at 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern. They're in your back office. Let me address one thing here, because I really want to make sure that people get this. Okay, let's lay this down as a game plan for you guys, because that's really what we are trying to do here. So here's your game plan going forward. This is what you should be doing. Okay, get pro. Okay, and then after pro, today, like your homework for today should be watch all the training videos. There are quite a few training videos, but they're not long. They're very short. They're very to the point. You should be able to go through all of them within a space of about 3 hours. Okay, less than 3 hours, you should be completely done with them. You should have been able to go through them twice and really understand everything, internalize everything. And this is what you need to do. Watch all training videos, put up your first listings manually. You're not going to use any software. You're not going to do anything like that. You're just going to do it the way the training videos show you, as if no software exists. This will help you understand eBay's process. This will help you understand what you're doing a lot better. And you're going to, let's say, you're going to put up 5 listings. Okay, and then you're going to put up 5 more listings with the software. Okay, with our system in the back office. At that point, you've hit your 10 listing limit, and you're basically going to ask eBay to raise your limits if you can, things like that. By the end of your 3rd week, you should be somewhere around 50 listings. That's what we want you to be aiming for. Get to 50 listings in your 3rd to 4th week. So end of 1st month, you should be getting ready to get Elite. You should already be seeing profits coming. You should be profitable. Your aim should be in your 1st month. Okay, many people do this in the 1st week. Quite a few people do it in the 1st day. But our aim is by the end of your 1st month, which is very achievable, you should be in profit. You should have at least $200 profit made, so you can get Elite without spending anything out of your pocket. Okay, that should be your game plan. That should be your goal. Okay, and then after that, your goal for 3 months. Okay, at the end of your 3rd month, okay, your 3-month end goal should be, if you're generating at least $350 in sales, that's basically what we found from our research. If you're generating $350 a day in sales, okay, not profit, but if you're generating $300 some in sales, then you should be making roughly about $60 a day, which is equal to about $2,400 to $2,500 in profit. Okay, so $2,500 profit per month. That should be your goal by the end of the month, which will basically mean about a $350 sales per day is where you would be. Now, this is the game plan we have seen a lot of people follow. We have seen a lot of people do this really, really successfully. And we've seen a lot of people take this to a whole other level and get to $25,000 a month and so on. So that would be the way that you would go about this.
And Tesh, I'll tell you, I need to show these guys my screen, because we talk about the $350 a day game plan. I want to show them that live real quick.
Yeah.
Real quick. Watch this.
The screen is yours.
So, perk up. So, all right, because I've gotten that question about 12 times. What's the $350 a day game plan? Well, this is that question I asked right here 16 minutes ago, as of right now, right? 16 minutes ago. So I'm going to show you. If I scroll through these are all results of just people coming over and letting me know, and I appreciate you if you're on this webinar, or if you're posting on here. I appreciate you guys coming over and showing all these results. But I'm going to scroll down to one right here. Okay, this is Nathan. All right, and within 3 months he made enough to quit his job. Spent 10 years of school. All right, father of 3, worked from home. Amazing. Look at the results here. Okay. $68,126 in his first 30 days, guys. In 30 days. In 30 days. From first 3 months joining, 30 days, bam. Okay.
And
what is
just
that
to clarify something, if we clarify a very important thing here, because you've probably been on some MLM presentations where they show guys like that. They're like, look, this guy made 100 grand this month. This was not done by recruiting people into something. This was not done by any of those shenanigans. This is purely by doing the process we showed you. This is just pure arbitrage. So if he did $68,000, okay, that's roughly what, $2,000 a day, $2,200 a day, okay, and assuming a 12% profit margin. Go ahead. Okay, so we're making about $200 a day in profit.
$272 is what that comes out with, and that's kind of on the low end in the first 3 months. So you want to get to that $300 a day mark. That's how you do it. And you know what? There's nothing special about that. Nathan, I'm sure Nathan's a special. You know, everyone on here has their traits, has something about them that they can do that no one else can do. Humans are amazing, but as far as the training platform goes, all he did and all anyone does in here is go through and follow the training. That's it. That's it. So does that answer your question? Everyone who's been asking in here, how do you get to that $300 a day mark? That's 90 days out, guys. That's 90 days out from taking action while working a job and then finally quitting that job to go full time. What can you do in the next 90 days is the question.
Yeah, it is literally just watch the videos, put up listings, watch the videos, put up listings. That's honestly all there is to it.
Look at this. After 2.5 hours, made first sale after 2.5 hours. Okay, and this is that question I posted 19 minutes ago now, right? Just amazing. Someone asked on the webinar, how do I know when I made a sale? Cha-ching. So you're going to see a lot of cha-chings, people talking about, oh, I had a cha-ching, I had a cha-ching, I had a cha-ching. That's because they're making sales, right? Just amazing. Okay, me made $100 in profits in one sale alone just the other day. That's one sale, one listing. All right. First live on webinar, been in 6 weeks, sold $300 in profit, $44. Keep going, Trisha. Keep going. You know, keep going through the training. Some of us, you know, the big factor.
But note that that's actually a very good example. Can we focus on that one?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kevin. I didn't do a whole, but can we focus on that example once? 26 listings, $44 in profit. Okay. Now, this is exactly what I was saying. It's been 6 weeks though, right? I want to speed that up. By the end of your 4th week, you should have 50 listings up. And at that point, you should have made at least $100 to $200 in profit. That's our aim. By the end of your first month, you should be in at least 3 figures in profit. Now, note something. In the same thread, you have somebody who did over 6 weeks. They made $44. And then right below that, you have another person who in 30 days, okay, which is 4 weeks, has done about $68,000 in sales. Okay, so one is at 300, the other is at 68,000. My point is not to say, look, one person is not doing it and the other person is doing it. My point is to say, if you focus and you put up a lot of listings and you make sure that you're targeting the right products, which we teach you in the training, how to focus on the right products, make sure you come to the training webinars. If you are feeling stuck or you want to do more, come to the training webinars. Make sure you call up eBay. Ask eBay to raise your limits as many times as you can. Say, look, guys, you need to raise my limits. I want to sell more. eBay loves people who call in and say, I'm working with DSD. I want to list more. Can you please make sure that I get more listings? You just have to become a little bit more of a go-getter because everything you need is in here. We are not trying to leak the money out of you guys. We're not bleeding you dry by charging you thousands of dollars or something like that. Our aim is that you can get access to all the stuff, go and start generating an income. And this thread is so amazing for that. I mean, this is beautiful. This is exactly what we want you guys to focus on. This is 15 minutes, and this is the platform that we are talking about. It's not. I recruited 18 people today, and then of those 18, 2 people recruited 4 people. And so what happened to the 16? Nothing. They're left by the wayside. Our aim is for this should be a purely logical system that you guys can do, that you guys can follow along, and just keep asking yourself a very simple question. Everything I saw tonight, can I do this? Can I literally just find an item on Amazon or find an item on a different retailer online and go and post it over on eBay? And that's all. That's really all there is to it.
It's amazing. And it's I'm gonna just go ahead and I had to refresh that because there's more comments that keep coming in. So let's go ahead and show these. Just more, more people making money. Raised hand. Look at that. I love that picture. Me, 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 me. Who's making money here? Pretty much anyone who comes in and applies a training. We're not done with the month yet. Look at that. $1,400 in sales. I mean, you just got to get in because I'm telling you, it's the best decision. I think everyone on this thread right here will agree that it's one of the best decisions they've made financially because it sets you on a new path. It removes the barriers. And if you have more questions, I'll tell you what. Yeah, Michael, Michelle. Michelle just asked $300 in profit a day. Is this really true? Yeah, average people are doing this. There's again, there's something special about everybody, but there's nothing special about those results because it happens in this system without having to go ahead and do all the recruiting stuff. We do have an affiliate program. And you know what? I would love to see you be a part of that. And I'll tell you why. Because we want to reward you for activities that go ahead and are income producing. So if you refer someone to DS Domination, we're going to make sure that you get paid for that. And some of our affiliates get paid a lot of money for that, lots of money for that. But it doesn't have to be the focus. In everything else that you've seen out there, it is the only focus. And that is the difference here. You don't have to focus on going out and making affiliate sales all day long. In fact, most of you have probably failed at that. I failed at that for a while, and then I got good at it. But I'll tell you what, 99% of people do fail at that. But these guys are all average people making a lot of money. It's amazing, and we appreciate all you guys everyone who's posted on here. I'm sure most of you aren't on this webinar, but you'll see the recording, and we appreciate it.
And
So,
for people who are asking about the affiliate program and want to know more about it, we do have an affiliate program. There are people who make 6 figures a year with our affiliate program alone. We don't talk about it a whole lot because we don't believe that it's replicable across the board. In fact, we just got a person who said they just made a sale 11 minutes after posting their first product, which is awesome. But here's my point. We have affiliate training every Thursday. Every Thursday, we highly invite you to get on that webinar, okay? Get on the affiliate webinar, and we'll show you guys exactly how to build that side out completely hands-free as well. Basically doing exactly what we do, copy-pasting stuff, doing it the easy way. We show you guys how to do that on the affiliate side as well within DSD. So we have that. We don't talk about it a whole lot. If you're really interested, I guess you can, if you're really interested in the affiliate side, just let us know, and maybe we'll try and incorporate that in the next webinar. So just say, yeah, I want to know about the affiliate side in here. But the only suggestion that we have, that I would personally have, is go ahead, create an account, watch the videos. By the end of your first 4 weeks, you need to get at least 50 listings up. That should be your aim. By the end of your 3rd month, you should be an elite level member. You should have over 114 listings. 114 listings, by the way, is the average point where our users transition from being eBay sellers to owning an eBay store. Their sales fees goes down, all that good stuff happens, and they usually are generating a lot more money as well. And for those of you who are like, I really want to hit it big, I want to make a lot of money, I want to get focused and do this the right way, go get pro, watch all the videos. Once you're done watching the videos, get elite, watch all those videos, and your aim should be by the end of the first month, get to the monopoly level, because our monopoly users are doing insanely well. We have users who do just monopoly now. They've kind of even graduated from eBay, if you will, in some ways, and they're doing just monopoly, or they're doing just Genesis. They're doing really, really well on there. The kind of numbers that if we show you guys, you'd be like, this doesn't even make any sense. How can somebody making that kind of money? We have users who are making $500,000 or more per year just doing monopoly and just doing Genesis kind of stuff. So without getting into all of that stuff, that's a journey. You should get to it, but get to it in your own time. Get to it properly when you have a good safety net built up from your eBay side of the business through your drop shipping or e-commerce arbitrage, as this is more appropriately called. And that's what you do. So very quickly, if you are creating an account tonight or you're reactivating your account or anything like that, just go ahead and say yes and commit that you're going to follow this game plan. You're going to get to 50 listings your first month. So just go ahead and say yes in the chat box so we know that you've done it, and you'll follow along. Beautiful. The yeses are rolling in.
Oh,
that is
wonderful.
awesome. See,
I can't wait. Once you guys get back there, yeah.
And make sure you join the Facebook group and let us know. Join the Facebook group and say, I just joined off the webinar. This is awesome. And right after you do that, here's the best part. We love seeing this, and we love seeing the yeses, because we are not looking this as, oh, look at all the money we're going to make. We're looking this as, look at all the money our users are going to make. Look at what our platform is mutating into. Our platform is becoming massive as time goes on. And you can imagine, with our user base and the type of e-commerce impact our users have right now, we are transitioning to even bigger things, right? And I mean, you should really join our Facebook groups and ask our users, say, who here has been in DSD for the last year and a half? What has your experience been? What have you seen change with DSD? And you'll see we are just constantly developing, constantly improving, constantly going to the next level. And you guys will be along with us in that journey as well. In fact, just the next 6 months, the things we have planned and things that are coming out are going to be crazy. Here, if I can show you guys this quick. Okay, so we are up to $53,900 and some dollars now. Back to you guys. Just want to see this every now and then.
It's great, man. It's really great. And Eddie, I'm looking at your question, and it's funny because he asks what's changed. I'll tell you, everything has changed. We didn't have automation. If you would have came back in here a year ago, you would have just seen training videos and just the tutorial side. All the software stuff that we had developed, built out, implemented, put in there, that's all designed to help you get a listing up faster, save you time, and enable you to scale your business without having to worry about it. That's all new, my friend. That's all new in the last few weeks since our event, since we had this event where we again asked.
Yep, since our event. And another thing that has changed, even on the training side, one of the big things that has changed is we have this whole team now. We have this team. All of these people are actually doing the things that they're teaching in real time. Okay, so somebody who's teaching you how to sell on eBay is actually selling on eBay right now. Somebody who's telling you how to teach on Amazon is selling on Amazon right now. And because of that, if any change happens, because these companies, these sites, they change all the time, like literally sometimes on a daily basis. Any change that happens, our leadership team, our training team, they pick it up, they go and change the videos as needed, they update it, and we literally have video updates happening like almost daily. So it's pretty cool, even on the training side alone, what's going on.
It's amazing. It's amazing because you're really learning from people. Most of these programs that you've seen out there, or you're learning from people who have done that, did do that in the past, a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and you're buying outdated information. The speed at which things changes in this industry is amazing. It'll shock you every time. So our hedge against that is to make sure that our trainers inside of DS Domination are doing this on a daily basis. If one thing changes back there, the training tutorial that led you to that gets updated immediately. We get on a webinar, we show you what those changes are. It's ridiculous, so that you're always ahead of the game. It's amazing. Yeah.
We got a question. Is there a limit to how many listings you will monitor? We don't have any limits at all. You can build as many listings as you want. Well, I mean, why would we put a listing limit, right? We don't want you to be limited. We want you to do as well as possible, which means have as many listings as possible. So there is no limit. Just go ahead and use it, and just make money. That's all it's for. All right, I think we are coming up. We are nearing an hour and a half. So let's do one final round of questions quick. If you have questions that are unanswered at this point, please, if you can just ask them one more time, and we'll scan them quick and make sure that we did cover everything. Okay, here we go. Does it cost to list items on eBay? Yes, eBay does charge a small fee for listing items. It can be as little as 5 cents. They also many times give out a bunch of free listings. Your first few listings are also free because they want to encourage you to sell. Um, there are many different ways to do it. Majority of our members, they get a lot of free listings from eBay, and there are seasons where eBay will just say completely free listing, go and list as much as you want, and then you can just go out there and list as much as you want. One of the great things about this is that the open season is over. Things have become a little bit tighter on a lot of these things online. It's not as simple. Like there was a period about 5 years ago to 6 years ago where this was a little easier. It was like Google PPC back in the day, right? It was just easier to get into. So it's not as easy to get into it right now, which is good because it has lowered the competition a lot for our users. So our users are doing a lot better now because of it. So yeah, our software takes care of those things. The new MPN, the new brand name restriction, UPC code stuff, all of that is taken care of within the software and within the training. What is the activation of supremacy? Okay, so there's this question about does your program also place orders for us? Yes, but that's covered in something called supremacy, which is our advanced automation stuff, and that's why we don't show that in this webinar, because I think this webinar is really more suited for members and people who are not making anything, or they might not even know about this method at all. So we want them to get in here. We want them to start doing some sales. We want them to start generating an income, and that's when they graduate to the more advanced stuff in supremacy and things like that. So we talk about that more on our training webinars, where we show them, look, here is some more advanced automation that can make you, that can generate more income for you, or you can do things more easily. But it just takes it time. We just give it time.
Yep, and that training webinar he's talking about is going to be happening tomorrow night. So for those of you who are in here, also bring your, we can't answer every question on this webinar, but bring your questions tomorrow, because we're going to have a pro and elite webinar trainings tomorrow night if you're watching this live, and you'll be able to get on there and ask questions.
Yeah, so I'm going to ask these two questions. I really want to address this one, the PayPal hold issue. So when you first start out, because we don't want anybody to be surprised by anything. When you in the very beginning, when you start out, you'll experience something called PayPal hold. And that is a very, very simple thing. It's just PayPal and eBay making sure that you're a legitimate person. Okay, so here's what happens. You list an item to sell for $44, like in our example that we used, right, with the monkey diaper bag. Okay, and somebody's asking, is the monkey story true? It's absolutely true. It is absolutely true. I had a lunchbox stolen. A lot of my classmates had lunchboxes stolen. And if they could not get into the lunchboxes, they would actually throw them at us. They would chuck them at us from the trees. I'm not even kidding. They're some of the worst creatures there are. And most people who have only seen them in zoos are like, oh, they're so cute. They're so amazing. And I'm like, you guys don't know what it's like to have a pack of wild monkeys terrorizing.
You gotta stop with these monkeys. They always kill me.